Bitcoin really just exceeded $30,000 per coin. It is up roughly 375% since March and hasn't shown any signs of slowing down. Today, I'm going to be covering what Bitcoin is, some of the pros and cons of purchasing Bitcoin, and whether or not it's a viable option for your portfolio. But first, please do me a huge favor of leaving a like on this video and subscribing to this channel. This is quite literally the easiest way you can support me and my channel so that I can continue producing content like this. Having said that, let's get started. Bitcoin is a digital currency that is like an online version of cash. Each Bitcoin is composed of a computer file which is stored in a digital wallet app on your phone or computer. People are able to use their Bitcoins or fraction of Bitcoin to purchase goods from vendors that accept them as a viable form of payment. And not only that, but every single transaction is recorded in a public list called the blockchain. This makes it possible to trace the history of every Bitcoin to prevent people from using coins that are stolen or copied. Like I mentioned previously, you're able to buy Bitcoin on a trading app like Robinhood and accept it as a form of payment as well, but you can also create Bitcoin using a computer. Now, mining Bitcoin is above my pay grade, so I'm not even going to try to attempt to explain it, just know that it is a possibility. Over the past few years, digital currencies have been gaining traction. Although it is commonly understood that Bitcoin is more speculative in nature, more and more people have started to see these cryptocurrencies as viable investment options. Not only that, but huge companies such as AT&T and Microsoft are now accepting these digital currencies as a form of payment. So if you're new to the world of investing and you are considering investing in Bitcoin, then it is important to evaluate the pros and cons of doing so before adding cryptocurrency to your investment portfolios. Having said that, here are some of the advantages and disadvantages when purchasing Bitcoin. I thought I'd start with the pros of Bitcoin and what you could expect when buying into this cryptocurrency craze. The first and most obvious advantage of investing in Bitcoin is the huge potential that cryptocurrencies have for growth. In March, the value of one Bitcoin was around $5,000. Just 9 months later, incredibly, the currency is now valued at roughly $33,000. This isn't the first time that Bitcoin has exploded though. In December of 2017, it was valued at nearly $20,000 per coin before falling back to $14,000 in the following days. There have been some incredibly optimistic predictions regarding the valuation of Bitcoin, including former Goldman Sachs hedge fund manager Raoul Pal stating that the price of this particular currency could reach $1 million per coin in 5 years. Ridiculous. The next advantage of Bitcoin is that when you purchase anything using this cryptocurrency, that transaction cannot be traced. This means that the government cannot keep an eye out on what you buy. So in other words, Big Brother is not watching. Your ability to remain anonymous during these transactions will also prevent you from having your identity stolen. For example, every time you use your credit card, you are sharing your personal information with the vendor. Bitcoin, on the other hand, allows you to send money without sacrificing such personal details. While this is great for people that want to have another layer of protection against the government or hackers, this ability to remain anonymous may also attract criminals who want to send large sums of money to others without being detected, and it could also enable regular people to buy illegal substances with that same protection. Now, the third advantage of using Bitcoin is that you are able to carry it with you on your phone or a hard drive and access it really anywhere in the world. Think about it, let's say that you wanted to pull out $1 million in cash out of your bank account. Good luck trying to stuff all of that in your pocket. That would make you an instant target for any criminals willing to break the law and steal your money. In contrast, Bitcoin owners have no such limitation and can walk around with millions of dollars on them without anyone ever really knowing. Also, since cryptocurrency is decentralized and not regulated by the government, you're able to access it regardless of your location. This has made investing in cryptocurrency a very simple process, and using it to purchase goods is also relatively straightforward, even for people in remote regions. The last benefit of using Bitcoin is its low risk of inflation. Now, the average rate of inflation for the dollar is roughly 3%. This means that every year, the dollar is worth less and has a smaller purchasing power. Bitcoin, on the other hand, has a limited supply. Currently, there are around 18.5 million Bitcoins mined. However, there can only ever be 21 million Bitcoins mined in total due to its source code. This code enables Bitcoin to remain finite and limited in supply. Because of the fact that there is a limited number of Bitcoin on the planet, that should prevent them from losing value due to inflation. Furthermore, as demand for Bitcoin increases, as we have seen over the past month, so will its value. Great, so now that we've covered the pros of having Bitcoin in your investment portfolio, here are some of the cons that I have found personally. The first issue with Bitcoin is its incredibly volatile price. When I started making this video on Friday, one Bitcoin was worth roughly $30,000, and now it's worth over $33,000 just one day later. However, as I mentioned earlier in the video, Bitcoin has fallen just as quickly as it has risen. For example, in the months following its historic rise in December of 2017 to nearly $20,000, Bitcoin fell to roughly $6,200 just a month and a half later in February. This is why Bitcoin should be treated as a speculative investment, since it's really a gamble. This leads me to my next issue with Bitcoin regarding its complex nature. I'm willing to bet that most people that have quote-unquote invested in Bitcoin thus far have done so based on a hunch or because everyone else is doing so, not because they actually really understand what they're investing in. Cryptocurrency relies entirely on technology, and I'd imagine that many people might find that Bitcoin can be rather challenging to comprehend. The next problem that I have with Bitcoin is the possibility of hackers coming in and stealing Bitcoin from their owners. Now, you may think that I'm overreacting, but there have been several instances of this occurring. For example, there was a particular data breach on the cryptocurrency exchange Binance, in which hackers stole more than $40 million in cryptocurrency. Binance claimed that the hackers stole API keys, two-factor codes, and other information in the attack. There was also a case in which 130 high-profile Twitter accounts were taken control of by hackers and then used to post a Bitcoin scam tweet. These accounts included that of Barack Obama, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates. The scam tweets asked individuals to send Bitcoin currency to a specific cryptocurrency wallet and promised that Twitter would send back double their money as a charitable donation. Now, I know what you're thinking, I would have never fallen for this scam, but since these were the accounts of verified, well-known individuals, literally minutes after this tweet, this led to more than 320 transactions, and a Bitcoin value of over $100,000 was deposited into the scammers' accounts before the messages were removed by Twitter. Now, the last problem with Bitcoin is the fact that payments used with this cryptocurrency cannot be reversed. So in other words, there's no satisfaction guaranteed when it comes to Bitcoin. So if you didn't like something that you purchased and wanted to return it, there's no way to recover your Bitcoin. Furthermore, your cryptocurrency wallet requires a private key, which is usually in the form of an alphanumeric code. The idea is that this code makes it more difficult for hackers to get a hold of your Bitcoin, but if you lose this key, then you'll also lose all access to your digital wallet. Thus, if you send your Bitcoin to the wrong wallet or lose your private key, then you're toast. Kiss your Bitcoin goodbye. Well, there you have it. There are clearly some compelling reasons to invest in Bitcoin, but it is also important that you understand the risks associated with cryptocurrencies. Whether you should or shouldn't invest in Bitcoin is dependent on your risk tolerance. I would highly, and I mean highly, recommend only buying Bitcoin with money that you can afford to lose, since it is truly like a gamble. Unless you are mining it for a living, chances are that you're buying it out of fear of missing out or just because other people are doing so as well. Generally speaking, I refuse to invest in businesses that I do not understand, and because of that, I choose not to invest in Bitcoin. Perhaps in the future I may, but at this time, I am focusing all of my efforts on purchasing my first investment property. And that's it. I hope that you now have a bit more knowledge about what some say is the future of currency, while others such as Warren Buffett detest Bitcoin and have even said that it is probably rat poison squared. In any event, make sure to do your own research before making any financial decisions. Feel free to subscribe and leave a like on this video if I provided you any value. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope all of you become Bitcoin millionaires.